Hi and welcome back again. In this video, we're going to look at verbs of movement and some other middle-only verbs. So far we've learned the verb bino to talk about going from place to place. But the two most common verbs of motion are both middle-only. The first is erchomai, which means I go or I come. It can be both motion away from the speaker and motion toward. The other is paruamai, which means I go and is used only for motion away from the speaker. For specific kinds of movement, we have several different verbs. One is peripateo, which means I walk or I walk around. And this, interestingly, is used often by Jews in the sense of living one's life, walking one's path, so to speak. Trecho means I run. Pipto means I fall, downward motion. Ago means I lead or I guide. Agero means I lift up, I raise. Stello means I set up, I establish. And engidzo means I approach, I come near. And this has got a related adverb, engus, which means close or near. Now, if we're not moving, but we want instead to stay put, we might use the verb meno, which means I stay, I remain, I live. Pauamai, similarly, means I stop, I cease, not just moving, but it can be stopping any action. And this reminds us a little bit of the English word pause, pauamai, so that might help you to remember the meaning. It's important to remember, though, that in a command to stop, telling someone else stop, you actually use the active voice instead of the middle. You would say, pauwe tu trechen, if you wanted to tell someone, stop running. Maybe somebody's running on the edge of the pool. Kathemai means I sit or I dwell. Probably the root meaning here is to sit, and living in a certain place is seen metaphorically as a matter of sitting there. And kathidzo is a similar verb, but it means to cause someone or something else to sit or to seat them. This is the transitive or reflexive version of kathemai. A couple other helpful words when we're talking about motion. Achri is a preposition meaning up to, as far as, or until. This is motion that comes to a certain point and then stops. As with hypo, the following word will always be genitive, and that genitive doesn't have its usual meaning. It just connects with the preposition achri, shows us which words go with achri in the prepositional phrase. So we might say, erchamathe achri tu oiku. We are going as far as the house, achri tu oiku, or maybe up to the house. Another useful term here is the adjective mesos, messe, meson, meaning middle or midst. We see an echo of this in the English term Mesopotamia, which means literally between the rivers, mesos, and potamos, which means river. But the neuter singular meson acts as if it were a preposition. So we might say, peripates meson tu polaos. You are walking in the middle of the city. And here again, we have a genitive case that follows meson when it acts this way. And the genitive doesn't have its usual meaning. It just shows you which words are following meson in a sort of pseudo-prepositional phrase. You are walking meson tu polaos, in the middle of the city. Or we could say, peripates meson ton anthropon. You are walking among the people, or in the midst of the people.